on Earth. They cannot breathe our air for very long. They have a special cream that they put all over their body that to breathe on Earth, and when they run out of it, they're in trouble. So if they get captured, they get in trouble. The Greys a lot of times have trouble digesting food that's here on Earth, so they get in trouble being hungry and being starved. The reptilians, they tend to, for some reason, they really like experimenting on them, and like they will put an appendix on one, or they'll make one blind, and they did all sorts of kind of cruel things to them. And so I would go in and get them and take them to their spaceship. So the Arcturian spaceship is my favorite spaceship to go on. It is absolutely beautiful, but extremely quiet. When I go on there, I know it sounds like we're just echoing all over the place because they're all telepathic, and humans, we are so noisy. And when I go on that spaceship, I feel like I'm like the heaviest, biggest thing, klutzy going on that spaceship. But it's beautiful. That spaceship is like blues and purples and like ambers in certain places. That spaceship's beautiful. But I've been on a lot of different spaceships, and I have moved to working on the next spaceship I worked on was called the Athena, which it is an Arcturian spaceship, but it was like a trauma center. It went and picked up big traumas, injuries, things that were happening to people, war, and we would bring people in and take care of them. And I know a lot of people talk about have experienced this, but I've experienced it firsthand where you, like, I'll give an example. As a soldier who gets injured in war is brought in to one room, and he gets to decide if he wants to stay with this lifetime or go on to the next lifetime. And that's the one room. I didn't have much to do with that room. My part was when they decided they wanted to stay in their body, that they would move to another room, and we would put them in tanks and hook them up and move their bodies or consciousness out of their bodies. And we also had cloning tanks in there too. So I would have to go in, and I was checking on all that, making sure they were okay. And the first time young soldiers, they would be freaking out because they're up there, the consciousness is looking down at their bodies, and I would have to calm them down. And so I was real involved in that for a while. Then they moved me to another spaceship, which was called the Alphabet. And that was more of a triage where I was seeing everything that's happening, and I would send, if a Palladium was injured, I'd send it to the Palladium hospital. If Arcturian was injured, I'd send it to an Arcturian hospital. So that's what I was doing on that spaceship. I'm back onto the Astro Medical one, the very first one, because I decided I wanted back on that spaceship because I was developing the clinic for these children or these babies that we're rescuing right now.
Okay. You know, many people talk about that the most active hybridization program is with the Greys. And okay, so you're in agreement with that. Can you describe a little bit about why that is and some of the techniques that they employ?
Well, I don't know the details about the techniques yet. I think I will in the future. I think right now they're just showing me different segments of what happens and how it's done and why it's being done. And as I said, it's done for both humans and Greys. And we're all thinking this because the Greys cannot have children. They cannot have twins. But we're also decreasing in our population too. So we're not having as many childbirths here on Earth also. So this is beneficial in both humans and Greys to have this program. Now they are big in genetics, and there's a lab, and I haven't even been to that lab. It's on the other side of the spaceship because I stay in my medical area where I'm comfortable, and that's where they're doing all the kind of creating the DNA and doing all the DNA kind of things. And I haven't ventured over there yet to see how it's done, but most of the time it is taking DNA from the original parents and just adding DNA to the ovum or whatever is fertilized. That's what I have seen the most of. I know I've been told, or somebody has talked about other different ways, but like people being impregnated and taking up a spaceship and taking the baby. I've heard all those things. I have not seen that. I have not been a part of that, so I can't answer to that. I do think I will see that in the future.
Okay. And have you ever experienced anything on these craft that would cause you to be concerned for the babies or, anyone that's on there? Because sometimes people have negative experiences and they come back and of course they share more negative, or the negative gets shared quicker. Sometimes it seems than all the positive experiences, because I can honestly say I have not talked with people who really have negative experiences. It seems that all the beings that they encounter are very benevolent. And yes, when you actually, I guess, come down to it, on a soul level, the person who is having these experiences has agreed to have these experiences. And in fact, the beings that they say have abducted them are from their own soul lineage.
That's my understanding also, Sheila. However, and I do think that's true, and there was occasionally on the spaceship, and I wasn't involved in this, I would see somebody running down the hall screaming that was in a gown, and they're chasing after them. And I'm sitting there going, why are they doing that? They're just helping them. They're just going through a medical procedure. They need this. Why are they running away? But I don't think they know how to totally communicate what is happening. I think there's like a barrier on communications that might be what's happening. You hear a lot of the insectoids, like the mantis beings, like if they're there, they're very soothing and can, talk to whoever's in there. But I'm not sure about the grays, how soothing and how comforting they are, unless they are a gray hybrid with these people who are being so-called abducted. I don't think they're being abducted. I think they're being taken up to find out how they're doing on Earth, how they're experiencing Earth, how their body's functioning on Earth. And I do think it is their family that's checking on them. Now, I mean, as children's a thing, when we go to the operating room and we don't understand what's going on, what do? We're screaming and yelling. And I mean, I can't tell you how many crying babies and things I've taken back